to your first day on the job as a CNC operator. Today we'll be setting up and programming a CNC machine to create a new factory part. We'll be using this large vertical milling machine at your workstation, which can cut and shape raw material called the stock. We'll program this machine to make precise cuts using G&M codes, which I'll go over in more detail later. Let's start by going over the design drafts. These will provide you with all the information you'll need for today's job. Hanging above the workbench, you'll see the first page of the design drafts. Pick it up and we'll go over it together. Hang the design draft on the clips to the right of the CNC machine within easy eyesight. Looking at the final product, you can see the different stages of milling we'll need to do. First, you'll be cutting along the sides of the stock, then drilling 2 holes into the top. Finally, we'll be milling the underside with a complex pattern. Once the stock's been properly cut, it'll become the first product in a batch of 300 units. Before we begin, let's check to see if the previous operators had a chance to clean the CNC machine. Grab the door handles of the CNC machine and slide them all the way open. Looks like the previous operator didn't clean up the small bits of metal debris created from cutting the metal stock. We'll need to grab our air gun and clear off the pallet. Pick up the air gun hanging on the right side of the CNC machine. Turn it on by pressing the small red button on the back of the air gun and it'll start blasting out air to clean the debris off. Aim the air gun at the metal debris on the pallet and they'll fall into the collection drain located under the pallet. I'll let you know when it's fully clean. Perfect. I love a clean workspace. It's important to keep a clean workspace as it'll help reduce the chance of anyone getting hurt. You can turn off the air gun and put it away. Now, let's get the cutting tools we'll need for today. This CNC machine has a large tool wheel that can quickly swap out which drill bits are being used. We'll need to select and insert the correct tools for that to work. You'll see on page 1 of the design drafts that the first tool we'll need is the drill bit labeled 2. Grab that drill bit from the tool rack, which is on the left side of the CNC machine. The tool piece will have a yellow border. That looks like the right one. Insert that drill bit into the tool wheel, which is located above the pallet inside the CNC machine. Great job setting up the first tool. You can look at the design draft to figure out what other tools we'll need for today. I believe there are 2 more drill bits. Good luck. You're really nailing this. Now that all the tools are set, let's run a quick test of the tool wheel to make sure it's working properly. First, we'll need to close the doors of the CNC machine as all programs won't run with the doors open. Now head over to the control panel, which is a large panel with a computer screen and a keyboard to the right of the CNC machine. Here we can program commands using G&M code that perform several useful actions, like swapping tools, turning them on and off, and cutting the stock. You'll see on the second page of the design drafts the first command is Tool 2, which sets up the CNC machine to use drill bit number 2. Let's run this command to test out the tool wheel. To do this, press the button labeled Tool. You'll see the corresponding G-code appear on the screen above. Next, press the number 2 button as indicated on the design drafts. Then, press the green Run button to run the entered commands. Once you press it, watch as the tool wheel rotates and grabs the drill bit you selected. Great job! With all the cleaning and setup finished, let's move on to the main task of the day. Our first task is getting the uncut stock secured on the vise and attached to the pallet. We'll be using a medium-sized steel stock today. There should be some uncut stock sitting on your workbench. Open up the doors to the CNC machine and place that stock onto the vise. Now we need to secure the stock in place. On the workbench, there's a handle used to tighten the clamp on the vise. Grab it now, socket that handle into the vise, and turn the handle to the right to tighten it. Looks well secured. Remove the handle by pulling it away from the vise and put it back on the workbench. Now we can begin with the programming. Head back over to the control panel. Let's start with our first cut along the edges of the stock. You'll need to input the operation commands on page 2 of the design drafts carefully before running the process. Don't worry, I've set the control panel to check each command you input to help you out. If anything looks wrong, I'll let you know right away. Since we already set the machine to use tool number 2, we can skip the first step. Start with pressing the safe button, which is the safe startup command. This is a good machining practice to do at the beginning of every program, which will set several options to default. Next, press the cal button, which will calibrate the machine's location to 0. Then press the X button, followed by the number 1. Then press the Y button and number 9. This command will move the pallet into the right position for the first cut. With the right spot set, press the start button. When this command is run, it'll spin the drill bit. Next, press a coolant button. This will turn on the coolant spray, which will keep the stock and drill bit cool, help lubricate the cutting tool, and clear out some of the debris. Press Z followed by 9, which will move the spinning drill bit into contact with the stock, starting our milling process. Our next command is X9 followed by Y9. This will start moving the pallet around, cutting the edges off the stock. Press X9, Y1. This will move the pallet to the next corner. Next, press X1, Y1. Finally, enter X1, Y9, which will move the pallet back to its original position. Press Z, 0. This will get the drill bit back into the up position. Press the stop button to turn off the tool. And finally, press the coolant button, which will turn it off too. Excellent job programming. Close the doors to the CNC machine. This will protect you from any flying debris or coolant spray. Time for the fun part. You can press a run button on the control pendant and watch as the machine goes to work. The control pendant will also highlight each command it's currently running if you want to follow along. The CNC machine's done milling, so we can open the doors and use the air gun to clean any debris off the pallet. Clean as a whistle. That's the first main task finished. Great job. Let's check page 3 of the design drafts for our second main task, drilling 2 holes into the stock. The design draft has the specific commands you'll need to input. I'll let you program this set on your own. See you in a bit. Those look good. Close the doors to the CNC machine and press the Run button. Those look good. Close the doors to the CNC machine and press the Run button. Looks great. Make sure to clean any debris off the pallet using the air gun. Amazing work. You're doing great as a CNC operator. You must be ready for your next milling process. Check the final page of the design draft to see what commands you'll need to input. There seems to be about 30 commands or so should be easy enough for you, right? I'll let you input these commands all on your own. I'll be back later. Just kidding. I know you're still a beginner, and this is far too advanced. Let's get our on-site CNC programmer to give you some help. Grab the walkie-talkie and give him a call. Hello, this is Lauren speaking. Yep, I'm just finishing up the code. Give me a minute to put it on a USB stick and send it over. While we're waiting on the USB stick, let's turn the stock over to the other side. Pick up the vise handle, loosen the clamp by turning it to the left, and flip the stock upside down. Once you're done, tighten the vise and remove the handle and close the doors to the CNC machine. Right on time. The USB stick's here. Pick it up and plug it into the control pin. There should be a USB slot in the front. You'll see all the commands you'll be running pop up on the control pin at display. When you're ready, press the Run button and watch the CNC machine run through those commands. Amazes me every time I watch the milling process. Okay, let's open the doors and use the air gun to clean the debris. Now, grab the stock out of the vise. Remember to use the vise handle to loosen the grip on the stock. Place a finished stock onto the inspection station and we'll check your work. Excellent job! You've milled your first product and completed your task for the day. Thanks so much for your help. You were a natural. On the workbench, you can select either to do a new work order or finish for the day.